So why would you practice doing that?
Oh, because you gotta make sure that you're
Aim and direction, right?
yeah, your setup is.
Got to set up the right way, right?
You want to.
Do you think that that's one of the reasons why you're a scratch golfer?
Oh, absolutely.
No doubt about it.
This is all I focus on when I come out in the range. This is all I focus on right here, is just making sure that.
So here we are with Steve, good friend of mine and student of the game. And today we're just going to talk a little bit about alignment and routine. Alright, so why don't you give the folks here that are going to watch this video a little bit of a reason why you're such a good ball striker and such a good player.
Well, the reason for that is because I try to set up the same way every time. If I'm going to hit maybe a draw or a fade, I'll adjust my setup for that. But to me, it's going through the same process before every shot.
Right, so being as consistent as you possibly can.
Exactly.
Every time. So your rehearsal has to be impeccable,
right.
Correct?
Exactly. I mean, if you think about it, that's the only way to be consistent. You know, if you have the same thoughts every time you go out and play, that's how and you're set up the same way every time, that's the only way you're going to be consistent.
So, in other words, what you're saying too is if you don't set up straight, it's very hard to get the ball to go where you want it to
exactly.
go.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, and we work on that quite a bit, don't we?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's the most important piece.
Okay, now one of the things too, and I know Steve's already got his workstation set up, but one of the things that I want everybody to be aware of as he's going through his pre-shot routine is also how you videotape yourself your swing. So you need to be sure that when you shoot your camera angle correctly, you're actually shooting it right about at the location of where the hands are, or the orange stick that you can see on the ground. And ideally I would want the camera to be set at about waist height to get the proper camera angle to see good swing plane. Alright, so tell the people that are watching us do this again a little bit about, you know, you just want to stand here and pound balls, or what's your thought process here? You know, how much time are you taking between each ball that you hit? And, you know, be honest. Let's talk about what the better players do.
Well, one thing that I really try and do is, first of all, I try and make sure that I have something where I can really gauge where I'm lining up to.
Yeah, and you have a target, right?
Yeah, you have to have a target.
So where you want the ball to start is a key ingredient.
Oh,
now,
absolutely.
you want it to start straight, and you want it to fly straight, and you want it to end straight. Unless, like you said earlier, you're trying to work the ball.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, and then to me, the most important component is I want to simulate play as much as I can.
Simulate the play as much as you can. I like that.
That's probably the best way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you really want to try and
Do you think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't take what they practice onto the golf course, is because they're just not simulating the play the same type of way?
Exactly.
They're in a hurry on the range.
Yeah.
Just not practicing.
They don't have a purpose.
There's no purpose sometimes. Yeah. Just in a hurry up and hit a bucket of balls and kind of be done with it type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And to me, that's the biggest way to take your practice onto the course, is to do the same thing that you do on the course.
Yeah, make it the same on the range as you would on the course.
Go through your routine, you know, through every ball, and then just have the same exact thoughts. And then it's very easy to carry it. If you do that, if you're consistent, then it's very easy to take that onto the golf course.
Now the other thing I noticed too here, and you kind of see a little bit about how your divot patterns are. Mm-hmm. One of the things that we see a lot too when we're coaching people is that they just hit from lots of different spots. So basically you're hitting your next golf ball off of the old divots, correct?
Right. Yeah, and there's a couple things that's nice about that is if you kind of step back and look at it down the line, those divots should be going right at your target.
Right, so they're going to be really pretty straight to where you're going.
It should be right on your target line, so you can see, you know, which way your divots are going. Obviously, you want them to go, you know, down the target line, and then also you're going to save a lot of grass.
Yeah, a lot of grass. You're not going to beat up so much grass.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you really don't need that much room to hit a full bucket of balls. I mean, you can see the area that we're working with right here. You don't really need any more grass than that.
So again, good workout station, good aim, and learn to hit your next ball off of the divot that you created the first time around. Okay, let's talk real briefly here about something that I feel is very important to my teaching, is how much time should you take in your pre-shot routine. And for you, I know that you're a good player and we work together on this quite a bit, but one of the reasons I want to bring this information to the person is how to practice the same on the range relative to when you get on the golf course. You want to keep that time frame consistent. Walk us through what you do.
Sure. Yeah, what I do in my routine is I like to look behind the ball, down my target line.
Okay.
This will kind of really give me a sense on where I want to go. And I don't really spend a whole lot of time. I see my target.
Okay. So 5 or so seconds of just kind of picturing what you want to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Then what I like to do is I like to kind of step into it. I like to be a little bit open to my target line when I step in.
Okay.
But then I'll look at my target.
Do you take a practice swing at all, or no? So you're just going to look at your target?
Yeah, I normally
Or
do.
Rehearse it a little bit?
Yeah, I'll take a practice swing
okay.
or two, just kind of to get a feel of the rhythm.
Gotcha.
But then what I'll do is I'll come into it.
Kind of work your way into it.
My target as long as I can. Then I like to put the club down first and then step into it.
Okay.
Take a couple waggles and I'll look at the target one more time, and then I'll go ahead and hit it.
All right, so the main thing is again, you want to be consistent. So you're going to do that every single time.
Every time.
Every time.
Every time.
That's not going to change.
It's not
and it doesn't matter whether you're doing it here on the range or you're doing it on the course, right?
Right.
Okay. And what's one of the biggest faults that you see when you're walking a range somewhere that you see? What's the biggest mistake that you see most average people may make when they practice? Are they just going too fast, or what do you think?
I think the biggest thing for me is I don't see people working on their alignment.
Yeah, they don't work on their alignment.
They don't have any type of feedback as to where they're aiming.
Yeah.
And I just think it's really hard to be consistent if you don't know where you're aiming. If you don't have a gauge on where it is you're actually aiming to.
So 2 of your biggest things that you work on is your aim and your routine.
Those are the biggest things by far.
And if you can improve those, and you think that most people will become better golfers if they worked on those 2 things?
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt. To me, if you really look at it, that's what it comes down to, is having the same thoughts every time. Having a routine, and then also aiming to where you want to hit the ball. Those
Perfect.
2, for amateurs, they should just focus on that.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
All right, so there you have it. Good player. Hit one more for us.
I'll start with
to help everybody get a little bit better. Again, practice with a purpose. That's probably the big thing. Practice with a purpose.
Practice with the purpose.
Use alignments.
Do the same thing.
Do the same thing.
Shot. You got to stand behind it and look at your target.
Take a look.
Look down your target line, and then go. And then this is when the routine starts, when you're stepping in the ball. For me, take a couple waggles, one look. Go.
Good, well done.